Welcome back to another edition of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast. Today we are joined by another unbelievable guest. We had been going back and forth for a while now. Good buddy of ours, Matthew Schaefer. Matty, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your schedule. I know you're coming off a brutal flight. We were just talking about that,
Yeah.
man. Talk to us about that trip. Obviously, you guys bring home the gold in an unbelievable game. Just fucking wild, dude.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that game, man. The ending, just the whole trip.
Yeah, no, I mean, first off, I've never really been to like Europe or anywhere over there, so it was pretty cool going over there, but I mean, everything was just awesome. I mean, anytime you get a chance to go play with Hockey Canada, it's, a thing that you kind of always say yes to if you get the opportunity. But I mean, it's pretty cool when you go over to Europe, kind of, country maybe some of you guys haven't been, and you play with a bunch of guys you may not know. And you get to know them for 3 weeks. You guys get to battle, work hard as a team, create friendships and bonds that will last a lifetime. And you kind of just go to war and have fun and just, get an experience of a lifetime and play, against, the some of the best players in the world. And I mean, to come home with the gold medal, it's pretty cool.
Man, talk to us about that dynamic because you just mentioned it. Like, you're playing in the OHL with Erie. Like, a lot of these guys are also playing junior within Canada. And then all of a sudden, right, snap of a finger, you guys are teammates battling for a gold medal, trying, representing your country. Like, talk to us about that dynamic. Like, obviously, you battle with a lot of these guys. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, you in the season you battle with a lot of the guys you maybe play against and stuff. So it's pretty cool when you can put all the talent together on one team, and you get to create some chemistry and just like I said, become close with all these guys that maybe you battle with in the season, and then you become close buddies and you want to battle and stick up for each other and just be there.
Yeah, dude. And especially this game. I mean, you mentioned the travel. We had talked about it earlier, how long it was. But man, this gold medal game, obviously, you guys take home the gold. Talk to us about that game, man. The roller coaster of emotions. Two unbelievable teams battling it out. And like you guys take home the gold in a crazy, crazy game.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest games a lot of us have played in. But I mean, just from the start, they scored first, and then we kind of like it was there. And then the thing is that like what we were really good at is that we never really shrugged our heads down and put our heads down. We
Right.
kind of just stay focused on the game and stay focused on the gold medal, and we wanted to win it bad. So we kind of we had a really good team, and we had so much talent, and we had so many players that just worked hard. Everyone, so it was so good when everybody kind of bought in throughout the whole game. And the third period was a big one for us, but we kind of just all bought in and fought hard, and got a couple goals, and went up, and we kind of just secured the dub. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Buddy, what was that celebration like? I mean, you guys win the gold. You're in Finland. I guarantee a bunch of you haven't been there. Like, man, what was that celebration like? The plane ride home, like, what was that feeling like for you and your buddies, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think that's one of the hardest times I've cellied on the ice
Yeah,
when we won. But I mean, you're world champs. It's pretty cool. I mean, it really doesn't feel that real in the moment, but after when you kind of think of it, down the road, it's kind of like you're world champs. But yeah, I mean, there's a video of me almost eating it into the
yeah.
crossbar.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna bring that up.
because I got off the bench, and I think I was like the second or first guy over. I skate as fast as I can, and then I think it was one of the guys. They like ate it and fell, and I
Yeah.
tripped over him and almost ate the crossbar. But yeah, I mean, there's so much adrenaline kind of rushing through,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't have probably felt it. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, man, what was one of your biggest takeaway from this tournament? You mentioned earlier, you're going against the best of every country, right? Every country's best in your age group. As far as your own game and the way that you played, what was your biggest takeaway against, playing against a lot of these guys? Like, did you kind of get a new sense of like where you kind of stack up against these guys in your age group?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool when you can go test yourself against some of the best players in the world for the '06 age group kind of thing. So it's pretty cool when you can go play against, some of the best players in the world and test yourself. And you just like, you can work as hard as you can. And, you see where you kind of sit when you play them, and you can just learn new things from like other players that you watch. Like you can watch some players do different moves, and you can maybe try to put that into your game and take some, bits and pieces from other players. But I mean, it's pretty cool playing with, some of the most talented people of this age group, and just, being able to put all the skill and talent together and just work as hard as you can and learn new things.
You mentioned playing with a lot of these talented guys, man. I think the talk of the tournament, man, Gavin, McKenna, and Porter Martone. I mean, for you guys, every time I turned on that TV, they were making plays left and right. And again, not to take away from the other players that you have on your team, you had an incredibly talented roster. From you kind of playing in the back end as a defenseman, what's it like seeing these guys kind of work and do their thing offensively? I mean, there were a couple highlight reel goals. Like, what's it like kind of sitting back and watching these guys do their thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool watching them. They're two really great players. I mean, but like I said, they were a big part of our team, but also a lot of the other players on our team were a big part. Everybody played a key role, and
100%.
it's just easy, trying to find them. Like they're just all the players on our team were just in. They're in key spots where it's just easy to find them. They're just very easy players to play with. So it's nice where I can, dish it up to them. I can kind of jump in, and they know where I'm going to be. I know where they're going to be. So it's very easy to work with them.
Man, what was your favorite part about Finland? Obviously, aside from winning the gold, what was your favorite part about kind of being around? Was that the first time you've ever kind of been out of country?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been out of country before, but I mean, that's the first time I've ever been to Europe. So it's pretty cool just going over there with a lot of the guys. I mean, I got close with a lot of the guys, but I mean, when we had our free time, we'd kind of, when we had training camp at the start, the first week, we explored a little bit of the city, and then later on we kind of went shopping in the malls and stuff because our hotel was connected to the mall. So it's pretty cool. We went there, bought some clothes and shoes. So it's pretty cool to just, see all like some stores that maybe aren't in Canada or the US or anywhere. And it's pretty cool. I got, I think, a nice designer t-shirt. So it's pretty nice
There
to
you
kind of
go.
explore all, like clothes and stuff like that in just the city.
You got to treat yourself every once in a while, right,
Yeah.
man? Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's cool just getting to know these guys off the ice too, right? Like, it just kind of
Yeah.
adds that different dynamic and makes things a little bit easier getting to know each other.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
man, I want to get into your first season with Erie. Incredible first season, especially as a 16-year-old, man. I mean, I'm going through the stat lines. I was watching a bunch of video and whatnot. You're selected number 1 in the OHL draft. 56 games played, 3 goals, 14 apples, or plus 16. What would you say was the biggest adjustment? Obviously, you were playing for the Halton Hurricanes, your U16 team. What was the biggest adjustment as far as your U16 year now moving to playing in the OHL?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest thing is just confidence. Like, if you have confidence, I feel like that's everything. I mean, you kind of once you play, like you get your first couple games under your belt in the OHL, it's just, you get used to it playing with bigger, older guys, but you get used to it as it goes. But I feel like the main thing is just confidence. If you have confidence, that's everything. Then you can kind of play. If you have confidence, then I feel like that's the biggest thing.
How many if you can remember, like how many games did it take for you to like really be like, all right, holy shit, I can play in this league. Like I can play with these guys. I can skate with them. I can hit whatever. Like how many games would you say that it kind of took you to really get going?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the first bit of the start. I mean, I feel like the second half of the season is when like I was really like playing at like my fullest. But the first start of the season, I mean, you just kind of get used to it. I mean, once you start playing regular season, not preseason, once you start playing regular season, you really start to get like the feel because then everybody's in the lineup, everybody's
Yeah.
playing. They're not scratching any guys to keep them healthy. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the first little bit of the season, you kind of start to get used to it. And then as you get closer to Christmas, you kind of get to like know the guys on your team. You get to get really close with them. You get to start playing with them more and more and just, gain that chemistry. So, I mean, I feel like closer to Christmas, you yourself and your team start to get very close. So then right after that Christmas break, like your whole team really starts to connect like to their fullest.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I'm super glad that you brought that up. The connection with your teammates. Earlier in the season, we got the opportunity to talk to Benny Gaudreau, who's honestly one of the best guys I've
Yeah.
talked to. Just an incredible human being. Again, when I talked to him, he kind of said he looks at you as a little brother and kind of wanted to show you the ropes and make your adjustment to the Ontario Hockey League as seamless as possible. Man, can you talk about your relationship with Benny, what he's meant to you, what he's meant for your adjustment, and just talk about the kind of teammate he is as well and what he means to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think Benny was probably one of my closest guys I've been with on my team. I mean, just ever since he came from Sarnia, like the day he came, we went out for lunch, and then I kind of helped him move in. But ever since that day, we've been close. I mean, I have a bunch of nicknames for him. I call him Gramps because he just feels so old, right? So I give him a
He's an
Gramps.
old soul, man. He
Oh, I
definitely is an
know,
old
I
soul.
know. And yeah, he has like a full beard. I'm not growing any hair yet, so I'd always give him a nice Gramps every once in a while. But yeah, Benny's been really good. I mean, he's been in the league for a while, so he really knows what he's talking about. If you ever need someone to talk to, or if you just, if you want to hang out, like he's just the guy to go to. He's just probably one of the closest guys I got with over the years, and I'm gonna stay close with him for a long time. But yeah, he's just been a very big help for me just to get to know the league, and he was a really good OA to start off with. I mean, all our OAs were great. Owen Johnston and Brett Brissett.
Yep.
They all really help you a lot when you come into the league. And probably, my only OAs I had, but probably some of the best. If you talk to any other guys on the team, they probably say they're some of the best. So they've helped me so much, just getting used to the league and having a great first year. So yeah.
Any funny stories about Benny or things that have happened to you two? Any pranks or whatnot?
Yeah, no, there's been a lot. I mean, for when we went together for Ugly Sweater Day, we got these like tank top ugly sweaters for our ugly sweater game. They're like tank tops. We're the skinniest guys on the team. Like we have no muscle, right? So we're pulling up as two skinny guys with just like short, like the things they go up to
Hell
here,
yeah, dude.
like tight on us, and our arms are showing, and we're just all skinny. We were getting chirped quite a bit, but yeah, there's been lots of stories of me and Benny, I'd say, but yeah, that's probably
There you
what I.
go, man. I love that, man. Like I said, I always love hearing about, the older guys can't kind of taking the
Yeah,
younger guys on. And that was one of the first things he brought up too, is just trying to be a mentor. He had brought up you, Malcolm, Malcolm
yeah,
Spence. He had brought up
yeah,
some of the younger guys, trying to just be a good mentor and just talking to him, just an incredible human being. But in bringing up Malcolm, man, very similar situation to you, just in 2022. He was the number 2 overall. I mentioned 2022. Had a great season. What's your relationship like with Malcolm? And has he been able to kind of help you navigate this whole thing, being in kind of a similar spot where you were the number 1 pick, he's the number 2 pick in 2022? Has he been able to help you a good amount?
yeah. No, he's helped me out quite a bit too because I switched billets and I started to live with him. So I live with him now. He's my
Oh,
billet
nice,
brother,
dude.
and Caleb Smith are my billet brothers. So I live with them now. So it's yeah, I probably got really close with Malcolm as well. I mean, because the age difference so close. He's 1 year older, so
Right.
he's helped me a lot, and he lives by me too. So I see him in the summertime quite a bit when we skate and stuff. So yeah, he's helped me a lot from the start. Just he had a year of experience, so he kind of let me know also what it's like and just helped me along the way. So yeah, he's been a big part too.
And funny you bring up, man, like how is the billet situation? I'm always curious hearing about these because again, I think a lot of people look at the aspect of you guys just being hockey players and not necessarily the human aspect of things,
Yeah,
where you guys are moving away right at 16, 17 years old, where I don't think a lot of people realize that, right? Like it definitely can take a toll mentally being away from
yeah,
home. I know, especially like when I joined the military, man, I was 18 and like
yeah,
I can't even imagine as a 16-year-old, bro. Like I can't
yeah.
imagine like what was that like your original experience and what does that look like for you?
I mean, I have always wanted to move away from home, but then when I moved away, I was like, I want to go back home because I just want to be with my
Yeah.
mom and dad and brother kind of thing. But
Yeah.
you get used to it. Like my brother or my dad and mom and my brother came to a lot of my games. Like my mom and dad never missed a game. Like they were always coming down to Erie. They were always coming to all over. They wouldn't miss a game, right? So
Right.
I you get used to it, but like still every time they'd come down and then I had to say bye to them, I'd always get, sad because I want to stay with
Yeah.
them. But I literally see them in the next couple days because they'd be at my game, right? So it's that's probably one of the toughest things. But I mean, I've had my two billets I've had over my first year have been awesome. I mean, and now the billets I'm at now are really good too. I mean, just everything's good, and now I got Malcolm and Smitty there too, so it's
Yep.
pretty cool. And the billets I have right now, they've had a lot of people over the years, like Jamie Drysdale and stuff.
Yeah.
So they've been billeting for a while, so they kind of
He's a
know what
pretty
they're
good player, I guess, right?
doing. Yeah, he's a pretty good
Yeah, he's
player, I
pretty good,
guess.
I
So,
guess.
yeah, so I
Awesome,
love
man.
both the billets I've had.
I love hearing that kind of stuff, man,
Yeah,
because again, it's going back to the human aspect of things where you guys, realizing that you guys are just kids and just growing up, right? Like
yeah,
it's a lot
exactly.
mentally to take on, and then adding the aspect of playing in a whole new league. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear things are going good as far as that goes. Kind of a similar question about, when I was talking about Gavin, McKenna, and Porter Martone, man. What's it like watching Malcolm kind of do his thing? You guys also have guys like Pano, Sam Alfano, and Carey. Like, what's it like watching those guys that have kind of been around? Malcolm, not necessarily as much, but those guys that have been around. What's it like watching them do their thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, all those guys you named, Pano, Carey, Sam, Malcolm, they're all great players. Like we have a really talented group of guys back in Erie and a really great group of guys. I mean, Sam Alfano, I've been really close with him because I work out with him at home. So
Yep.
he's helped me. He's another really big guy that's helped me along the way because I train with him in the summer and like we've just always been really close, right? But yeah, they're a really talented group of guys. I mean, like I said, it's so easy working with, guys like that just kind of find you and like just so easy to work with because they're just so talented and so skilled. So it's just so easy and it's so fun to watch them do what they do and kind of take little bits and pieces of, stuff they do in their game that maybe you can put in your game. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and again, kind of getting away from talking about how talented all these other guys are, man. Let's talk about your game and what you've been able to do as a 16-year-old. I mean, obviously you're an incredibly talented defenseman, 16 years old playing for the Erie Otters. I mean, you're already rated extremely high as far as the 2025 NHL class. Um, Man, how do you kind of block out that noise, right? Like the expectation, the just kind of the hype that kind of goes with all this. Like, how are you able to just kind of block out that noise and just kind of focus on your game and focus on what you can control?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to focus on really any of that. I kind of just, play the game whenever I step on that ice or whenever I just focus on, say a game's coming up, I just focus on that and then I'll worry about the next game after that. But I like to just, when I'm playing the game, the boards go all the way up to the ceiling and I kind of just focus on the game kind of thing
Yep.
and not worry about anything else outside of that. But yeah, I mean, you have to work hard and a lot of hard work has to come. But I mean, I like to just take one step at a time.
That's awesome, man. And man, I gotta be honest, man. When I watch those worlds, the biggest thing that stuck out to me, especially in watching your game, your skating ability is second to none. I mean, one of the best that I saw from defensemen in that tournament, as well as your puck handling ability, right? Your ability to just move the puck. Amongst other attributes that you have within your game, strengths that you have. What part of your game do you take the most pride in? And think like, do you think is your biggest strength?
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I like my skating ability. I like to kind of move my feet to kind of help me get out of trouble if I'm ever in trouble. And like I said, I like my hockey IQ too. I like to try
Yep.
to. It's pretty easy to find guys when like I said, once again, when you play on with so many talented guys, it's pretty easy to find them with your hockey IQ and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my skating and hockey IQ are pretty big ones that I like to use when I play.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of going through a lot of these guys, there's a ton of different comparisons out there, right? And I know oftentimes guys don't like to compare themselves to other players, but as far as like NHLers go, guys that are in the league now, or even former players, Do you see a lot of yourself in any certain player? Um, or is there anyone that you try to emulate your game after that's either playing or has played in the league?
Yeah, if I had to think one that I kind of model my game after, I mean, I'd probably say Cale Makar because he's a pretty good player. I mean,
Yeah, he's pretty
his
good.
offensive game's good and his defensive game's good because I want to be maybe one of the best, two-way players because I don't want people to just look at me and say, oh, he can maybe play offense. I want to be a shutdown
Right.
defenseman too. I want to kind of worry about the defensive zone first, and then if it's there, jump in the rush because yeah, I feel like I've been, working on my defensive game a lot more, and I kind of just want to be that, two-way player, not just that one-way player.
Now, in talking about improving your defensive game, right? Are you talking about more like gap control? Like what kind of things have you been trying to work on?
Yeah,
Um,
just
yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
no,
you're
just
good, man. Yeah.
just everything. I feel like this year in Erie I've been playing a lot of PK, so I mean, I feel like I just kind of want to I want to be able to block shots too. I want scouts and people to just look at me and say, he can block shots, he can do whatever the coach needs him to do. He can
Right.
play offense when he needs to, defense when he needs to. I just want to be relied on in, all key situations.
Now, I kind of in going back to the player comparisons, I should have asked before, your favorite team and your favorite player growing up?
I mean, I'm in the Toronto area, so I feel like
Oh man.
Toronto's. I'm a big Toronto fan, and me and Jack Evankovic. So
Yep.
he gets some tickets for the Leaf game. So usually, if we're back home in time, we'll go to the Leafs game, and he gets front row tickets. So it's pretty cool. We went to the playoffs last year, so yeah. And then if I had to pick a favorite player, I mean, I'll just go with the Leafs again. I'll go Matthews. I mean, he's lighting it up.
Yeah.
He's a great goal scorer, and it's just fun to watch whenever you go to a Leafs game.
How's that barn, man? I've never been there. I want to go so bad. I
Yeah,
just haven't gotten the opportunity to go.
yeah, no,
How
it's
is it
good.
there?
It's good. I mean, like you said, I haven't really been to any other barns either, so I can't really
Yeah.
compare it to anything. But it's pretty sick. Like it's pretty cool how they just fill it out every game. It's just
Yeah.
filled, and I just it's crazy to see how many fans they play in front of. Like it's crazy. I kind of hopefully one day I can see what it feels like. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to see all those people come and support.
See, now this is kind of where my brain just goes like haywire. Now I want to know as far as like places you've played, right? Whether it's, Finland, you were just there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite arena that you've played in? Whether it's a single game or just like you've been to this place a couple times and it's just absolutely electric every time you're there.
I mean, our Erie's
Yeah.
arena. I gotta say they're probably the best fans in the league. I mean, I could be biased, but they're probably the best fans in the league. So that's probably one of my favorite to play when a home crowd sold out. But I also like Kitchener's arena a
Yeah.
lot. It's pretty loud playing there, and it's intense, and especially playing them in the playoffs, it's fun because it just gets loud, rowdy,
Yeah.
and it's awesome to play there and home. So I gotta say Erie number one. Kitchener.
Those Canadians are insane about their junior hockey, man. I love it, man. I like again, I've never been to a game. I'd love to catch one at some point, but man, you've got the off season coming up. You mentioned your skating, working out. What kind of things do you enjoy doing off the ice, right? When you're not training, when it's not hockey. What kind of things do you enjoy kind of doing?
I mean, in the summer, I mean, I love to play other sports. When I was younger, I played, every sport that I was able to. But I loved in the summer. I love to just hang out with my friends. Go see all my friends and go up to cottages and just
Yeah.
spend outdoors time up north and ride some jet skis and stuff with my buddies. I mean, one of my closest buddy has a nice cottage up north in Perry Sound, so we go up there a lot, and he has some jet skis and stuff. And it's just nice to kind of enjoy life and kind of just spend time with family, kind of get your mind off hockey and just be a kid, kind of thing.
Yeah, nice little reset. Like, are you a golf guy at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a golf guy. I wouldn't say I'm, the best at golf. I got to
Right.
work on it a bit. I feel like that's a summer thing I need to kind of work on. My brother plays every day now. He's like an everyday golfer, and he's nasty. So, I mean, hopefully he can teach me a few things, but yeah.
There's nothing like being out on the links, man.
Oh,
Just
I
kind of
know. And it's just
relaxing.
fun to kind of just go out there with your buddies, kind of enjoy some nice hot weather and play some golf.
Yeah, man. And kind of in getting back to the offseason thing. You mentioned working on your defensive game, PK blocking shots or and whatnot. Is there any other areas in your game this offseason that you really want to try to hone in and kind of pick apart and try to really improve for next season, your draft year?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like one of the biggest things, I mean, it will come, but I feel like I'm going to try to, put on as much weight and muscle as I can this offseason. And kind of, I feel like the main thing for me that I've kind of wanted to work on is my shot. I kind of work on my shot a bit more and kind of
Yeah.
get that a little harder and stuff. So I think I'm going to, try to get bigger, stronger, and just get a, harder shot.
Awesome, man. Listen, that's all I have, man. And honestly, I want to seriously thank you so much for taking the time. I know how busy you are. Probably still got some jet lag from that gold medal, man. But yeah, I seriously can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your schedule and out of your day to join us here.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you again for, letting me come on and stuff like that. I appreciate it. I know you had Benny and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just awesome. And it was nice to meet you, and hopefully, one day we can meet in person. But yeah, I appreciate everything.
Absolutely, man. And it was funny because Benny was the one you got to
Yeah.
get Maddie on. You got to get Maddie on. He's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make it happen. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, man, sounds good. But
Yeah.
yeah, brother, I honestly can't thank you enough. And yeah, that kind of concludes it. So,
Yeah.
take
Perfect.
care, man. Have a great summer. And then just enjoy yourself, man. I
Yeah,
greatly
you as
appreciate you.
well. You as well. I mean, it was like I said, it was nice to meet you, and hopefully we can meet each other one day in person.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Take it easy. Have a good summer. Okay.
Take care, brother.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Matthew Schaefer of the Erie Otters, gold medal, two-time gold medalist in the U17 World Hockey Classic, as well as this year's Worlds, the U18 Worlds. Unbelievable kid. Obviously, an extremely talented defenseman. He's going to be one of the top picks in the 2025 NHL Draft. What a good kid, good buddy of ours. Even though he's a Leafs fan, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Talking about playing with guys like Gavin, McKenna, Porter Martone, Malcolm Spence, who are also going to be atop of their draft classes 2025 and 2026. Just a great conversation to have, though, just getting to know him better. And we wish him all the best, and we wish him the best of luck, especially next year in his draft year. So again, this is kind of a morning thing that we're doing here. The rest of the episode kind of just touching on different topics within the NHL. Big win by the Colorado Avalanche last night. Taking down the Stars 5-3, getting a late goal from Nathan McKinnon. And they force a game 6. Dallas is still up 3-2, but Colorado forces a game 6, and never say never in playoff hockey. Another goal from our buddy who's been on the pod. Logan Stankoven scores again. Yeah, just a big game. Getting two goals from Cale Makar, 5 playoff goals he's got. I mean, this dude is the best defenseman on the planet to me. It's not really close. I think that the gap between the number 1 defenseman and the number 2 defenseman is pretty significant. And then once you get down to like 2 through 5, it starts to get a lot more closer. Guys like Roman Yossi, Miro Heiskanen, Adam Fox, amongst others. There's a ton of guys in that range that are just phenomenal talents. But nonetheless, Dallas, this is a hell of a series. And I've gotten the opportunity to watch a lot of these games. I said this series was going to go 6 games. And I truly do think that Dallas closes this out. They're my Stanley Cup pick, and I'm rocking with them. They're just too deep. Phenomenal goaltending from Otter, Jake Ottinger. They're getting production from their young bucks. Wyatt Johnson is absolutely incredible. I mean, this dude is going to be an absolute superstar. Logan Stankoven, same thing. And then, they're getting production from their vets. Joe Pavelski scored in last night's game. Jamie Benn's playing well. Matt Duchene got an apple last night. I just really like the way this roster is constructed. And I truly do believe that Dallas is going to win this series in 6 games. But we shall see. Some other news throughout the NHL, some awesome stuff. Connor Ingram from the Arizona Coyotes, now obviously the Utah Hockey Club, takes home the Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy. Um, this award is presented annually to the NHL player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, dedication to hockey, as voted by the members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Um, I mean, I think Connor Ingram's story is pretty phenomenal, especially considering how well he played. Just not even just considering the hockey aspect of things. He was on the brink of retirement, and I think I had listened to an interview that he had done, and he was on the brink of retirement. This dude was gonna tie him up and hang up the pads, and due to severe OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, lingering depression, even into this season. And he decided on January 15th to seek help from the Players Assistance Program. Um, and this is a quote directly from Connor. I think this is a job that not a lot of people get to do. And I put 22 years of my life into it and thought I might as well keep going at this point. Ingram said Wednesday. Lucky for me, I got a shot in Nashville and I got a shot in Arizona to keep it going. So I'll be forever grateful to hockey and the hockey world for helping me through it. I mean, this dude has been through hell and back. It's like looking at his track record. I mean, from the East Coast League to the AHL, played in Sweden, and now, played with Nashville in 2021 and 22. Now at 27 years old, he was just claimed off waivers by Arizona. And again, he had a good season considering he was on Arizona. I mean, 23, 21, and 3 with a 291 goals against, 907 save percentage, tied for the NHL lead with 6 shutouts in 50 games. He had 48 starts in those. That's incredible considering the team he was on. And I think that's incredible. Well deserving. There's so many other guys that, especially when it comes to this award, it's very hard to choose an award like this because there's so many guys that are well deserving, guys that have been through different things, different types of things. It's I can't imagine how hard it is to pick an award because there's a lot of guys that could win this award that are deserving of this award. But yeah, nonetheless, congrats to Connor. That's a huge accomplishment. I think that award is probably one of the biggest honors, off the ice stuff as well as on the ice stuff. But just dropped my cup there. There we go. Love that. Moving on. This is kind of the meat and potatoes of the episode. What I really wanted to get into is the Boston Bruins Florida Panther series. I think this series has been, in my opinion, no bias, obviously, has been the best. I mean, the ups and downs, the highs and lows of this Bruins team. We can go ahead and talk about this game 5. I not even going back to game 4, just the absurd officiating, which again, we move on. We squash that. This was a new game talking about this game 5, which was unbelievable. We got bounce back play from guys like Charlie McAvoy. Again, Morgan Geekie scored, got on the board early. He was able, I thought he had a great bounce back game. Charlie Coyle, and this Bruins team forces a game 6. They're coming back home to Boston, and I think they have a legitimate chance to force a game 7, especially with what it's looking like. I cannot imagine a guy like, nonetheless, their captain, Brad Marchand, not playing in this game. I just can't imagine a scenario where he's not playing in this game. Just insane. Obviously, we know he sustained that sucker punch to Sam Bennett, from Sam Bennett rather, and concussion symptoms. I don't know if he was officially diagnosed with a concussion, but nonetheless, a brutal play. You could just tell as soon as he got up, he was just kind of wobbly. But um, I mean, to say some unbelievable quotes after this game, which just again for me is encouraging to see after they were kind of down in the dumps. I mean, the officiating's been brutal. They've been playing brutal nonetheless. And I think I made a tweet on that got kind of roasted. It's like not trying to blame the officiating. The officiating's been horrible playoff wide. Like, I don't think that's a secret. Um, I think that's pretty freaking obvious to everyone that watches hockey and understands the game. The officiating's been brutal this whole playoff. Every series. I mean, it just seems like worse than in recent years. And, again, the Bruins have not done anything to help themselves either. Not putting pucks on net, taking stupid penalties. I mean, 6 too many men penalties, 4 just in this Florida series, which is absurd. I mean, I think there was 27 all year. We're talking 6 just in the playoffs, 4 in this Florida series. Those are mental errors. And those are things that that again, you shoot yourself in the foot. Penalties like that, putting a team like Florida on the power play, it's something you can't do if you want a chance at winning the series. Awesome quote by McAvoy. Talking about Marchand going back, they hung his jersey in his locker, took it with him, and I thought that was so cool. I mean, that's one of the things I love about hockey is just the pure team aspect of things. Um just that was an extremely cool moment. And this quote from Charlie, we know what he means to this group. We didn't say die. We wanted to see this thing go back to Boston and give him a chance to get right and hopefully be back. Again, going back to it, I don't see a scenario where Marchand does not play. I would be shocked if he doesn't, and I would be a lot more alarmed about what exactly happened and just what's going on with him if he's not able to play in this. Again, going back to that game 5, huge goal by Charlie McAvoy. I think there was a lot of question whether that was going to be a called back. Danton Heinen made a little bit of contact with it with his stick, but I think what saved him is that he made a valiant effort to get out of Bobrovsky's way to give Bobrovsky an opportunity to make the save. And I think Bobrovsky had every opportunity to make that save. With a stick, without the stick, doesn't matter. I mean, I think, in my opinion, that was their best game. I think of every game this series. I mean, even going back to game 1, I think this was their most complete game played in all 3 zones. Charlie McAvoy, again, kind of really, really bounced back. I mean, he had really been struggling, not really contributing offensively, as well as just in his own zone. Just hasn't been playing well, whether that's due to injury, whether that's due to whatever it may be. I mean, you look at this dude's face, it's like this dude has been through war. And again, I to say that he's still not their best defenseman, one of their best players, is just absurd. I've been seeing some takes of trade this dude. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Yeah, some pretty absurd stats that I'm seeing. It's like the biggest thing I think for the Bruins is putting pucks on net. Um, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that's a Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky quote, and it's like good things happen when you put puck on net. You can't score unless you put the puck on the net, and I think especially this game, you saw a lot more sense of urgency, and again, they had their backs up against the wall, and they need to have that same attitude, that same mentality going into game 6. I mean, they got nothing to lose at this point. I think Jeremy Swayman has been the best goalie in the playoffs. I made the point that you put Jeremy Swayman on any other one of these teams, they're probably winning the cup. Again, I don't think Boston has as deep of roster as some of these teams like New York, Carolina, Dallas, Colorado, Vancouver. That's just me. And Edmonton. I mean, granted, if Edmonton had Swayman, this I think we're talking about a different series here. But he has been that good. He has been Boston's best player by far. And I think he's proven that he can be a no shit number one goalie, playing number one goalie minutes. Again, nothing against Linus Ullmark, and he's been on the bench the vast majority of the playoffs. But I think Jeremy Swayman has proven that he can be a number one goaltender for this team. He can be the guy, the horse. And what does that mean for Linus Ullmark? Time will tell. I mean, granted, we're still in the playoffs, so that's not really a time to. There's a different time to evaluate stuff like that, and I don't think now's the time. But it's definitely poses the question, right? What we talked about back when is like, what's a return look like for Ullmark? And granted, there's going to be a different time to tell. There's no telling right now what his trade value is, what is what the Bruins could get for a guy like him at this point. But yeah, I mean, time will tell. And yeah, tomorrow, big game, big game. I mean, Jesus, home crowd back in Boston. I think the Bruins take this one. They've got too much momentum right now, and especially with Marshy coming back. If he does come back, I think that's going to be a huge boost for the Bruins. Game 5, they match physicality. They were not afraid to, throw their weight around. They didn't look lethargic, which was a big thing. And then going back to my original point, they were putting pucks on net. And that's exactly what needs to happen in this game. Shots on net early, match Florida's physicality. And you know what? Again, I feel like the Bruins have a good chance in this game to force a game 7. And I mean, what a season. I mean, granted, I'm not trying to say the season's over, but I think a lot of people were writing off this Boston team, and to make it to 6-7 games against Florida is pretty unbelievable. This Florida team is loaded with talent from the forwards all the way down to goaltending. It's a stacked roster. But I really appreciated and really love the effort from the boys in Game 5, and I expect them fully to bring that, especially in their home rink, to bring that for Game 6. Another award that I definitely wanted to touch on was kind of crazy with all the hits and stuff that he's had, and pretty recently he had a flying bow to Martin HS last week. But New York Rangers, Jacob Trouba was selected as the Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award. The award is selected personally by Mark Messier, presented since 2007 to a player who exemplifies great leadership qualities to his team on and off the ice during the regular season, and who plays a leading role in his community growing the game. This is the first time a Ranger has won this, so Mark Messier being a legendary Ranger, pretty cool. Trouba is the first Ranger to earn the award. To earn the honor after helping his team to a franchise best 55 wins, the President's Trophy, and an NHL leading 114 points. Obviously, we know the Rangers are up 3-2 in the Carolina series, and he's been a pretty big part of that. I think he struggled pretty early on, and but again, he's just a force out there. Every time you see him, especially as a forward, you got to keep your head on a swivel, because this dude, if you give this guy the green light, like, he is going to take you out. And again, he's been a phenomenal captain. He finished 12th in the league, second on the team with 183 block shots. That's just the type of defenseman he is. He's not afraid to eat pucks. And again, he's done a ton of work, which I'm looking at his stuff right now. Trouba also sold prints of his original work to help raise money for the Garden of Dreams Foundation and the city's Epilepsy Foundation, which is awesome. I mean, we know he's big into art. We've seen a couple segments from him on NHL Network and whatnot, but it says here he and his wife Kelly who has epilepsy, founded the Truba Creative Expressions art program to help connect adults with epilepsy and seizures with art therapists. The couple also took part in promoting the NHL and the NHL Players Association Hockey Fights Cancer initiative to encourage people to get regular screening. So, well deserved. I mean, he's an unbelievable staple in the community. Um, Again, you hear nothing but good things. Whether aside from the stuff off the ice where he's trying to take people's heads off, this is awesome to see. So congrats, Jake. That's a pretty big accomplishment. Now moving on to tonight's game. Obviously, it's Thursday right now. Couple previews. Tonight at 7 on TNT, we've got the Rangers looking to close it out against the Carolina Hurricanes. I wholeheartedly believe that the Rangers close it out tonight. I think, again, they've got New York sitting at a plus 140 and Carolina at a minus 165. I truly believe that New York closes it out tonight. I know Carolina has a ton of momentum going into this, but I'm taking the Rangers in this one. And then at the 10 o'clock slate, also on TNT, Edmonton and Vancouver. I'm going to take Edmonton on this one. I think they've been playing really well. That power play is absolutely lethal. And I said it, man, like this might be one of the best power plays I've ever seen, probably in the history of the NHL. And I'd be curious to go back and kind of look at some analytics and look at numbers, but this power play is unbelievable. I mean, that shot by Draisaitl, just the playmaking ability by McDavid. Evan Bouchard is a force on that unit as well. This team is so good, and Sea Loves has been playing very well, given the circumstances. I think he has given Vancouver a phenomenal chance. While they're missing Thatcher Demko, who has been one of the top goalies in the NHL, in my opinion. But I'm going to take Edmonton in this one. I think Edmonton takes this, and they go up 3-2 in the series. And yeah, we've got some pretty good games coming up. Obviously, tomorrow is Bruins Panthers, Stars Avalanche. I think the Bruins tomorrow force a game 7. Again, this team, if they can match the physicality of Florida, they get pucks on net early, get Bobrovsky moving, shake them up a little bit. I really like their chances. And as far as the 10 o'clock slate, also on TNT, I like Dallas to close it out. They're up 3-2. Obviously, series going back to Ball Arena in Denver. I'm gonna take Dallas. I think Dallas closes it out on the road. They're getting phenomenal play again from guys like Wyatt Johnston, Logan Stankoven, and Jason Robertson's been phenomenal. This roster is just too deep, and with Jake Ottinger playing the way that he is, I like their chances here. So that wraps up episode 42 of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast. We had Matthew Schaefer on, obviously stud defenseman from the Erie Otters, number 1 overall pick in the OHL draft. 2-time gold medalist, and he's rated as one of the top prospects in next year's class, the 2025 class. With guys like James Haggins, Porter Martone, Michael Miza, Matthew Schaefer is right up there with them. In my opinion, he's going to be a phenomenal defenseman. Just kind of talking about his journey, again, his season with the Erie Otters, kind of navigating his way in the new league, the OHL. As well as his time in Finland. Sounded like the boys had a blast there, celebrating that gold medal. And yeah, hopefully we can talk to him again soon. Be great. But yeah, that wraps up today's episode 42, which is, we keep pumping these out, and this doesn't happen without you all who listen. So we greatly appreciate you here at Drop the Mitts. And yeah, stay safe out there. Take care. Summertime's coming, the warm weather's here. So again, stay safe out there and love you guys. Take care.